Okay, it has been probably a year since I've done any of these videos, but they are coming back, I promise. I'm gonna do a couple a month is what my plan is. Of just little educational videos to help you understand a bit more about training, behaviour, understanding why trainers do it the way we do, why we don't like certain methods, why we don't feel that they're effective or kind to our dogs. So, I'm going to kick off with something called the ladder of aggression. Please ignore my absolutely shocking ladder. I can't draw anything. I can't even draw a square, and I clearly can't draw a ladder. This is my second attempt. So we're just going to brush over that. It's just metaphorical. So the ladder of aggression is a training tool that we use, which helps us to understand where a dog is and how they're feeling. So if you think of like being really calm is at the bottom of the ladder, and as our dogs get more anxious, more fearful, more stressed, their behaviours escalate and they climb up the ladder. Okay, so at the bottom we've got a really calm dog, really chilled, really happy, can kind of cope with the world, and at the top we've got a dog that's attacking and biting. And I'm going to go through the different stages that take our dogs from down here to up here to help you understand that when your dog is displaying behaviours such as snapping or biting or grabbing at treats or growling, where they sit on this ladder and what it means like internally for your dog's point of view. Okay, so when a dog is put in a mildly stressful situation, they start at the bottom of the ladder. So a mildly stressful situation could be a dog, a person coming too close, and too close is relative to the dog. So it could be a football field away for some dogs that I work with, or it could be that they're really in their face, or that your dog has something like a ball that they really like, and a dog's coming too close to it and they're feeling threatened, or it's over food, or anything that puts your specific dog into a situation where they feel that they can't cope quite so well. So some of the first body languages that we will see when a dog starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable are really subtle. And when I work with clients, I talk about these all of the time. And the owner will be like, oh, they do that all the time, but I never realised that it was related to them feeling uncomfortable. So that's why I'm here doing this with my terrible drawing, okay? Leaving my pride behind. So some of the early body languages that they demonstrate and that they show include things like blinking slowly, they might yawn, they might lick their lips. If I was clever enough, I'd edit that out, but I'm not, so we're just gonna, that and the ladder we're just gonna sell us. So yes, they might blink really slowly, they may yawn, or they might lick their lips. I'm gonna go past this in a minute. And these are really low level signs that the dog's starting to feel like, ooh, feeling a bit of pressure, feeling a little bit of stress. So what you have to remember about these low level behaviours is that they are context specific. So if your dog has been for a really long walk, and then they curl up in their bed and then they yawn, they're probably just tired. But if they are eating something and another dog or a person comes too close and they yawn, that's possibly a sign that they're stressed. Yeah? Same with licking their lips. Is that if they are about to devour a tasty treat and they do that, then that's fine. If it's that they're in the middle of eating it and someone comes close to them, maybe not quite so much. So if those behaviours don't work and the threat continues, then they might start to turn their head away. It's a bit like what we do. We kind of like moving away a little bit and trying to get some distance now between us and the threat. So initially they'll turn their head, but then they will also turn their body away. Ooh. Bouncy as paper. They might sit, they might paw at the ground, they might sniff. What they're trying to do at this point is say, whoa, I'm no threat to you. Oh, look how non-threatening I am. And they're trying to move away and get the other dog to get the hint, okay? So if by kind of turning away, they still feel like that threat is coming towards them, then they might start to walk away. So they're going to try and increase distance. So these all kind of get a little bit lost and a little bit muddled along the way. Some dogs are really adept at reading other dog signals, some dogs not so much. So sometimes we have to step in and be like, okay, time to go, let's increase our distance from this dog. If these aren't working, then our dogs really have to escalate their behaviour. And so what they will start to do now are the more well-known signs of stress. So they may start to crouch, tuck their tail under, like slink away a little bit. They might creep, their ears will go flat back, their mouth will change shape, they will try and get small and low to the ground. Okay, so they are really at this point showing what would be called submissive behaviours. I tend not to use that term because it gets muddled and mixed up with dominance type training. They're called appeasement gestures, so they're really trying to tell the other dog to I'm really feeling threatened by you now, please can you go away. Often at this point that will be as much as dog needs to do, but if they do that and the threat still continues, then what we get is that the dog really feels like they have to do something more proactive, more aggressive to defend themselves and to increase the distance and get rid of this threat. And that's when we start to see kind of stiffening behaviours. So the whole body goes really stiff, and they will stare. And if this has ever happened to you with a dog around, it's quite an intimidating posture. They often will lean forward, their body is stiff, all of their muscles are rigid, and they're just staring straight at you. It's time to walk away quickly, or slowly, depending on how you're feeling. That's quite an assertive position for a dog to be in. Not all dogs will do it. Some dogs are too scared to do that. So we often, some dogs will, some dogs won't do this. After this, we have growling. And now we know we're in trouble when we get to the growling phase. If growling doesn't work, we'll have air fighting. Sometimes a muzzle punch as well. And that's just a precursor. It's a warning strike, because after that, we get to a bite. And there's various severities of bites, but they can be fatal, as we know. So what we need to do is be really aware of when our dog's starting to feel uncomfortable so that we can start to manage environments. Sometimes what happens, let me just get a different colour pen, like, let's go for green. Sometimes what happens, not sometimes, a lot of the time, what happens is because these behaviours are ignored by people and by dogs, the dog just kind of stops doing them altogether. Because why do something if it doesn't work? And they will start to react initially higher up. And what we get a lot of the time is that they start at this level, and that's when I get called in. And actually what's happened is that the dog has tried for a really long time saying, I'm really, really uncomfortable in this situation, please can you help? I'm really uncomfortable, get me out of this situation. And nobody has listened. And so because of that, they've gone, well, what's the point? I'll just start higher up at the point where I'm shouting, give me some space, and then people will listen. And what happens, especially when you get the growling and the stiffening of the body, the lunging and the barking, is that the other owner will quickly get their dog out of the situation because they're thinking, oh my God, my dog's about to get attacked. Or the owner of that dog will go, ooh, let's not do that. Oh, they've never done that before. And so this behaviour is really effective because they demonstrate this behaviour first off and the threat disappears straight away. Fabulous, I'll just keep doing that. I don't need to do any of these low level behaviours. What is the point? I might as well just start at the top. That works every time. And then it's a long way to bring them back down the ladder. It's a long way until we can start to see these low level behaviours again. So when you're out in public with your dog or at home, depending on what your dog's like, really think about how is your dog feeling in that specific situation? How are they feeling about people going near their food, when they've got a chew, when they've got their toy? Are they snatching treats out of your hand? Because that's a clear sign that your dog's like, I'll take it, but I don't know what to do with it. And then we can start to, instead of seeing these behaviours as our first ones, we can say, actually, Kim, can you come and help us? Because our dog's feeling a little bit uncomfortable in this situation. And I promise you, it's much easier for me to help you when you're down here. It's a long road back for some dogs once they get to the top. It's fixable, we can do it, but it's much easier if we start to spot those signs earlier on. And we can be like, yeah, they are feeling uncomfortable when another dog comes close. Okay, let's get them more comfortable. Let's change that emotional reaction. Let's make them feel happier about the dogs coming into their space rather than having to shout about it. I hope that helps. I hope that clears things up and why sometimes dogs seem to become aggressive out of the blue. Most of the time, it's that they haven't been listened to. And it's not that we're not listening, it's that it's a lack of knowledge, and it's my job to make sure that everyone has that knowledge. So here I am on a rainy, whatever day it is, Thursday afternoon. So ask me questions, put them below, I will answer them. If there's a lot of questions, I'll do a live on it and then we can have a chat about this ladder of aggression and how it manifests for each of your dogs.